Good evening, everyone. I'm Susie Garrow.
And I'm Bill Griffith in tonight for Tyler Matheson once again. Well, a ruling by the Supreme Court today was a major victory for TV broadcasters in their lawsuit against startup online TV service Aereo. The charge was violating copyrights on their programs and not paying transmission fees. Shares of CBS and other broadcasters involved in that lawsuit against Aereo rose higher today following the ruling. CBS shares led the way, up by more than 6%. So what does this ruling mean for the media industry, and will Aereo strike up licensing deals or just fade to black? Julia Borston has our story tonight.
This is a major win for the media industry, ensuring that the media giants will continue to be paid by cable, satellite, and internet TV companies for the right to rebroadcast their content, protecting a crucial and growing piece of revenue.
What the consumer now is guaranteed is that we will continue to do the same high-quality premium programming that we've done, that we will deliver it to them, and there are plenty of places to get it. So this is a very pro-consumer thing, and frankly, for Aereo to say that it isn't, is a little bit of sour grapes.
With those valuable retransmission fees at stake, all the media giants that battled Aereo in court applauded the ruling, saying it's a win for consumers and that it affirms important copyright protections.
I think the biggest thing is it does reaffirm that they have the right to control when and how and where their content is broadcast. And I think that's critical because it does allow them then to continue to extract value from the content that they make and own in the way they have for many years.
Shares of IAC, which invested in Aereo, declined slightly on the news. Chairman Barry Diller saying, "I do believe blocking this technology is a big loss for consumers." Aereo CEO Chet Kanogia says the battle isn't over. Quote, "We will continue to fight for our consumers and fight to create innovative technologies that have a meaningful and positive impact." We'll see if that entails paying media companies. The justices made a point to stress that this ruling should not have an impact on other cloud services and emerging technologies. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Julia Borston in Los Angeles.
Let's turn now to Tom Egan for his analysis on the Aereo ruling. He's senior research analyst at Telsey Advisory Group. So, Tom, I mean, certainly CBS benefits, especially hearing Les Moonves in Julia's story. What other media companies benefit and why?
Well, it's really good for any broadcasters because they can continue to charge retransmission fees. Also good, of course, for general media companies because they own the broadcasters. Lastly, for cable operators, it's a minor positive because there's less reason to churn now because you can't get Aereo.
But here's my question, Tom. What about the future of this technology that exists now that Aereo created? It's still there. It still would be a positive for consumers to be able to watch broadcast television using their mobile devices, using this technology. Is there a future for that technology, and who should take advantage of that, do you think?
Well, I guess the question is, does the company continue to operate with, obviously, with significantly higher costs, or does Barry Diller shut it down, or does he sell it? I guess if he sells it, that could be interesting, especially if it's bought by an over-the-top company.
But to Bill's point, this raises the whole question about disruptive innovation. And so here was a new innovative thing that many consumers were very excited about. So what does this ruling mean for future innovations, especially in the media space?
Yeah, it's really unclear because what the Supreme Court said was that Aereo is like a cable operator. They're taking the signal and they're retransmitting it to customers. They said it's not like a Xerox or a library card. So it's kind of unclear, but certainly we'll have other innovators that will try to start new services.
And do you think the broadcasters themselves could do that? There was a time when Les Moonves at CBS said if they lost the Supreme Court case, he would think about starting a competing service, a company that compete with Aereo. That wouldn't stop him from doing it now, would it?
No, but I think that if they do start that kind of service, it does lower their leverage in asking for retransmission fees from the cable operators. Here they are creating something that competes with their customers.
Mm-hmm. Tom, you were telling me earlier that you think that this decision is going to open up a wave of mergers in the media space. What are possible link-ups, and what will that mean for consumers?
Well, I think with the consolidation on the cable side, you're seeing them get a lot bigger, and there was a question that maybe the media companies had to get bigger too in order to compete with them. And I think the big question there was what the broadcasters' financial future looked like with the Aereo case in doubt. Now that we know that they are going to be able to garner fees from retransmission, it makes it easier for them to know their future. So we could see some M&A. I think that it obviously makes the value of the broadcasting groups that much higher.
I was just going to ask you, I mean, Les Moonves said today, you know, there are questions about advertising. That's still their business model right now, all technology aside. There were questions about the strength of advertising right now, that maybe it had slowed down a bit. Les Moonves at CBS said that's not the case. How do you view advertising, and how do you like broadcasters right now as investments?
Well, I think you saw the broadcast stocks move up a lot today because it shows you because it was clear now that they are going to get those fees that are significant. I think that what we could see is some merging of, say, broadcasters and non-broadcast companies, because it helps them become more diversified. So, for example, we might even see a CBS rejoin with a Viacom.
That would be surprising, because they joined, they split, and now they would join again?
Well, I think, remember, the reason why they split up was because the company didn't want CBS to drag down Viacom. Clearly, that is not the case now. So there's less reason for them to be separate.
All right, Tom, a lot of interesting information. Thank you so much. Tom Egan from the Telsey Advisory Group.